Hi everyone, I'm Von Kevitz, designer and maker for VK Dare to Be Original on Galilee Life. What a week. What a week. I honestly almost really was not going to come on. I had every excuse in the book, but I'm here. So I'm just going to start. Lord, thank you for another amazing hour with my beautiful creative friends. Thank you for continuing to watch over us and be with us and love us and protect us and teach us. For we don't always know what we do, Lord. And may you continue to guide us, give us strength, give us and give us love. And Lord, I've never prayed more for mercy this week than I have for our nation and our entire lives. Like, God, give us mercy, please. In Jesus' name, amen. Whew. Election week, guys, election week. I have my knitting. I may get to it. I may not. I'm not sure. I have my tea. It's almost gone. I considered making a new one, but I ran out of time. I woke up with a migraine. My allergies is crazy. So, and I was like, didn't even comb my hair. My nose could bleed at any second. I really considered not going live. But if I didn't do it now, I'm never going to have this conversation. And I really need to have this conversation. So I was messaging a friend who is like really frustrated with what's going on with the election and feeling hopeless and basically I had responded to her saying that freedom is not free. Freedom is a belief. It is fought for and it is earned. And when you don't do either for freedom, you will lose it. And for most, when it's lost, it's gone forever. I'm going to start with a major disclaimer. Disclaimer that I knew was going to come eventually, but in all of October, I had prayed and I prayed and I prayed. And I considered making the disclaimer back in October, but I was like, no, I was just going on gut. You all know, since my Ravelry video, 2 years ago now, I am not political. I'm not political. I was a citizen just a few years back, got to vote, voted for one issue, and that is to save the sanctity of life. That's it, right? Because if we don't value life at every stage, we as humans will always value life at every stage. Always. We will always struggle to value life at every stage. If we don't value life, we'll always struggle to value life at any stage if we don't value life at every stage. And I am watching it come to fruition more than ever this week. It is just becoming so clearly to me how we disregard and devalue human life. Like it hasn't been, but believe me, this week is just accumulation to the nth degree at how we are being punished for that right now. My big disclaimer before I start this freedom is not free video. I did not vote for Donald Trump. I didn't vote for him. I prayed long and hard. I was all the way up to September to vote for him again. And I didn't vote for him on Tuesday for two major reasons. One, in early October, I discovered that in his term, he had, his administration had given more money to Planned Parenthood than Barack Obama's term. And I thought, how can a pro-life president do that with those numbers? Because Live Action org did the report. And in that discovery, I looked further in and had many, many discussions with my close friends about it, where they were explaining to me that it was not federal, that it was a state. So he gives money to Medicaid, which is federal, but not state. And the state's the one that regulates it, and with Roe versus Wade, all that political stuff, But even though whatever it wasn't enough for me to fight it. The other second reason why it was always in the back of my head was vaccines. Vaccines for this forced mandatory vaccine is criminal. And when I found out that Bill Gates, who holds a patent for it, named the vaccine Luciferase with the code 060606, the big picture is just, and with Trump working for, is it Moderna or something? I can't, the exact technical term. It was just enough for me to go, he might be part of the system. He may be slowing it down. Like we know Biden is not, but Biden will super speed the system. But Ann Harris freaks me out because she is, but not enough for me to vote for Trump this round. But all in all, to say that, I have watched this week turn into something that I never thought I would witness, and a very scary time, because whatever happened during Bush and Gore in Florida, I was young, but now statewide, like when you have governors, including my Pennsylvania governor, say stop the count, so we can't figure out who the president is, stop the count. When you have our leaders saying stop the count, why would they tell you to not count when we're waiting to find out who the president is, other than a sinister reason behind it? And then there are videos upon videos, leaks and leaks and leaks of voting polls, like where they're counting, they're blocking and they're hiding it. My state, Pennsylvania, is actually being sued by the president because they wouldn't even let observers count within 30 feet, inside of 30 feet. What? In the guise of what? I'm like, my mind is blown. My mind is blown to watch what is happening here. When you have an election and you have a fight or you have a race, whatever happens fairly, the result should always be the case. But when you have people cheating. And I'm a common sense enthusiast. And I'm seeing enough cheating going on right now that it's mind blowing. Hey, Kathy, I'm so glad you're joining. I'm glad I'm not talking to myself because I know that we're like in a weird, like, yeah, it's so sad. It's so sad what is going on in Pennsylvania. I I went to bed with my area with Trump ahead by 11 percent, like 11 points or something. And then I woke up and heard that Lackawanna was Biden won. And I was like, that's weird. And then more and more, I was watching not all of the news now because I don't watch mainstream media. Because they're all narrated. You know what I mean? So they all like say the same thing to push us into one narration. And so I don't watch it. So what I do is I go direct sources. I like to go to the direct source. You know, when I tell you BLM is a racist, demonic organization, I'm going right to the source. I watched the co-founder give a speech saying, we are trained Marxists and we are here to take down America. You know, if you don't know what a Marxist is, they are followers of Karl Marx, who wrote the Communist Manifesto. It blows my mind to find out. I work at polls in my township. The lines were the most oh my gosh, Kathy, that was the first wake up call that we were living through history. Like, this is a moment in history. On Monday night, my husband's like, I was going to go after work, you know, and my husband's like, I think we need to get up early and go in the morning before you go to work. And he's like, because I think the lines are going to be crazy. And I was like, no. It was like, we're in a tiny town house, you know what I mean? We rode in a church, you know. And so I was like, no. And he's like, but I'll get it over with him, you know. So we did, and we got there, showed up right before, like it was about 8:30 in the morning. The polls opened at 7. I thought we were doing really good. I thought everybody was still home from the, you know, from the shutdown and everything. So we got there and the line. So we got in, we got to the back. We were like, oh, are they letting us go through the back? They're telling you have to wear a mask and da. We're walking down. And then we get to the main basement of the voting. We've done this several years. This is where we vote, right? In the main basement. And we're like, where's the line, you know? And then we ended up following the line that had to go back out through the front. So we had to go back up the stairs, follow the line, wrapped around the church. And we were outside for an hour waiting to go in to vote. An hour. I had to email work and say, I'm standing in line. I'm going to be very, very late. This was insane. We've had people, I've heard stories about they were getting out to vote for lunchtime. They had a 2 hour and 45-minute wait before they can get in there. It was insane. So yeah, the voter turnout was massive. It was absolutely unreal. I was like, I've never heard of this. And John's like, I have been voting my whole life for 20 plus years. Never heard of this insanity. And I'm like, it's insane, which is a great thing. Because people are taking responsibility for their lives, right? And it's great to see that. So fast forward to everybody turning out and doing what they vote for, whoever wins, whatever president wins. Because like I said, I started out, I did not vote for the person you thought I was voting for. I voted for a third party. I wrote in my vote. I voted for a constitutionalist, a Christian constitutionalist with research. And that's who I voted for, knowing that my vote was not going to matter in this election, knowing my vote was going to be basically thrown away. But what is making me so sick to my stomach right now, this whole week, is how this election is resulting in such an unfair, disturbing is such a beautiful word. The most disturbing part of all of the changes that they made in voting in the last 6 months. Scary, right? You knew they were preparing for it. You knew this, they were preparing for it. It fascinates me how when Satan works and his lies and his deceit, he's a master at it. He's a master at his lies and deception. We're not even close to half the steps. I think I'm very smart. I think I'm very aware of my surroundings. I think I open my eyes, I pay attention, you know what I mean? I look outside the box more than most people think. And people think that because I'm quiet, I just follow along with the crowd, but I do very opposite things. I do very hard things, and I hate that. I hate that I do that, but I just go. I go with my gut. Watching how it makes so much sense now why this year had to be a disease that got spread by man, a man-made disease that got spread and unleashed onto us. How they would shut down the economy and weaken us all. Businesses are closing left and right. Entrepreneurs watch their livelihoods burn up. Physically, we're watching human beings burn our livelihoods to the ground. All in all, while we're managing to still destroy the most innocent lives in the process. We're here shutting down our businesses, not hugging, not visiting our friends. My father-in-law, we can't even visit him, because he's in a nursing home. Like all these things, we've had people die and we couldn't go to their funerals. You know what I mean? Because we couldn't gather. But we have protesters, you know what I mean? Protesters that have the right to gather and form, but you can't go to church. You can't gather in church, and you can't sing Christian songs, and you can't hear the gospel as a community. We can't hug our friends, and now there's talks of not gathering for Thanksgiving and Christmas because we're going to put everybody in danger. Do they think we're stupid? You know what the sad part is? Are we that stupid? Because half of us are. And more than that, 75% of the human beings on this planet are that stupid. How? How do we get to this? How do we get to this state? I can't. Oh, I'm so glad you found me. I'm so glad you joined. I can't wrap my head around this right now. I can't wrap my head around this. When I had to make a stand against Ravelry, it was in a knitting community. It was in a knitting community. It was in my craft world, right? In my yarn world, which seems small, but it was huge at the time when I made that stand. This is beyond global. And if you think this is only America, if you think this is an American problem, this election is an American problem, you're sadly mistaken. It is all over the world. This is a global thing, and America was the last vessel of any kind of a freedom, any kind of an individualist liberty that's going to stand for this. Every other country has already bought and paid for it, and they've already sold. They're under monarchies, they're under tyrannies. U.S. is already, but we're still the last one because at least some of the people know what freedom is. And freedom is an idea. You either believe that you're a free human being because God gave us free will, and we have liberty because it's our God-given right, or we think that we're owned by other human beings, and then we do what they say and we do what they tell us to do. This, whatever the result of this election, it's crooked and it's tainted. When you're supposed to have transparency and you see videos of them boarding up with big poster boards and big boards trying to cover so they can't see, what's going on in the counting booth, they're hiding something. When governors, including my Pennsylvania governor, saying to stop the count until Friday, He's hiding something. These are people in power. They're hiding something. What are they hiding? Like I said, I'm not political. I'm just a common sense enthusiast. When you're boarding up windows to, when I close up my shade just because I don't want my neighbors to know what I'm doing in this house and I have my light on. I want privacy. Counting ballots is not a private act. It's supposed to be a transparent act because it's supposed to be equal and free, right? We're supposed to have our voices heard. What do I think will happen? Amen sense to comments, right? Amen to comments. I don't, you know, Kathy, I'm grateful that Trump is a smart enough man to know to. I'm grateful that he is not going to do it lying down. Like, I'm grateful that he's going to fight back. There's a lot of lawsuits against every state, so transparency. And the funny thing is, this is the thing that you want to pay attention to. He's not fighting for. He's not going before like you. The crazy masses come at me and say that, oh, you just want. Here's where my big prayer came into play. Before, I struggled really hard in not voting for him, knowing he did some good, knowing he stopped the timeline. Because if it was reversed, we would be so far along. This nation would change so fast, just like it may with Biden and Harris. And it's not Biden, it's literally Harris, because let's be honest, Biden has said so many times in Freudian slips that it's President Harris that he's working for, not him. He knows he's just a puppet standing there. But nobody's stupid enough to vote for Harris directly. But I guess we're stupid enough to vote for her indirectly. I'm grateful that he's at least strong enough to fight back. But he's not fighting that he's president. He's fighting for transparency. He's fighting for every vote to count the way they voted. You've got states, you've got Nevada with billions, I'm making up numbers, multiple lots, thousands and thousands of dead people voting in Nevada. You've got Michigan, who is now under lawsuit. I'm thinking is now under lawsuit because they have a glitch in their system with 47 counties, a glitch in their system where the votes for Trump were going for Biden. A glitch in the system where votes for Trump were going to Biden, 47 counties in Michigan. And God knows how many other states were using that system. God knows how many other were using that electronic system with that same glitch. Interesting, right? And then you got mail-in ballots that aren't even validated, which we knew, which is stupid, which we knew. If you're not there you've got stories where people were going in to vote and finding out that they've already voted. Their name was already crossed off. And you're like, what is happening? There's something sinister going on. What is the point of me saying, when I did that and it was a small community, this is so. The reason why I say this is worldwide and it's not just a US problem is because if we allow what's happening to the US continue to happen the way that it's happening, there is no other country that is more free than this one. There is nowhere else to escape. When my nephews grow up to be young men, when my baby nephews grow up to be young men in this country, I fear that they will not recognize what we've done to this country. I fear it. And and we're giving it away. My mom was one of those who said that she had voted mail-in and she didn't. My mom was one of those who said that she had voted mail-in and she didn't. Really? You know, I was like, what is the point of me? Like, if we're dealing with such a beast, we're talking to, my maker friends. It's like, what is the point if we think like we can't? The point of this is to share what you know and to not be quiet and to not be silent. And worst of all, not to believe what you're seeing, because Satan is lying everywhere. He's lying so much. He lies all the time. And like I said, I'm not on here crying because the president that I voted for is losing. And so I'm calling like that this is an unfair result thing. No, I think, I think, um, I think God has blessed me with the knowledge to not vote because I'm truly bipartisan. Like I said, I followed a single issue and I went with my gut. And so this me crying foul play right now is not even for a president that I voted for. I'm crying because there is not a fair justice counting system going on right now. Every state, those major states that that we're relying on to get the results right, at 3 a.m. all the way up to 3 a.m. Trump is winning, and then from 3 to 4 a.m. they all shot up like 150,000 votes for Biden. Just from 1 hour, 150,000 votes for Biden. In how many states that shot straight up with not one vote for Trump within that hour, that weird hour, right? That weird magical hour that it happens in. That is not mathematically possible. Physics is not math, you know what I mean? There's always one. You gotta have one. And every dead person that's voted is all blue, all Biden. I went from, what was it, Thursday? And now, mind you, I'm not like in this election. Like, I'm not following it. The things I'm telling you, these are just like weird little random things. Okay, like I'm just, like I said, I'm a common sense enthusiast. So I see them and go, that doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense. And then so I was watching it the night of the election. There's only a few things that I was watching. Um, um, because like I said, the guy that I voted for, I knew wasn't going to win. I was watching it and I was like, there only like 14 states had like 14% counted, right? But 14% of the state was counted for, and Trump was ahead by 100,000 people voting in that 14%, but they called it for Biden. And I was like, that doesn't make sense. What kind of math is that? The guy that's ahead at 14%, they're calling it for the opposite guy. Did they predict it? Did they know that the number was going to flip at any second? Watch Pennsylvania when they were announcing that they were going to sue, because in Philadelphia they wouldn't let the third party look and watch and count fairly, right? They made them stand more than 30 feet back to witness. I'm sorry, 30 feet. Do you know who's happening? Like, are you able to validate who's counting, who's voting for this, or who it is, and if this is a legitimate person or not? It's only a sinister move. Would you make that? Like, if I wanted to hide something from my husband, I'd be like, honey, stand 30 feet back so you don't see exactly what I'm doing. That's common sense. You know what I mean? When your parents are like, no, mom and dad, no, you stay 30 feet back, because I want you to see, you can see me from 30 feet back what I'm doing. You can trust my actions there. Stupid. So I'm glad that they're getting sued. But at that moment, when they were making that press conference, they were actually saying that 87% votes counted were in, and Trump is up 400,000 votes. So 80% were already counted for, legally or not illegally, but at least those numbers. And he was 400,000 votes ahead in Pennsylvania. And now I'm at the end of Friday, which this is when our our honest governor said, honest, right? Governor said that to stop the counting until Friday. Because now on Friday afternoon, we're magically, Pennsylvania is Biden. I'm like, that's weird math. How did that happen? How did that happen? Where did all those magical numbers flip so fast? Where did they find those numbers to flip? If I'm 400,000 ahead with 87% almost done, isn't it locked? Isn't it in? No. I guess the population like grew overnight. And then the other fact is that Biden got more votes than Obama. So Biden was more popular than Obama, which is another red flag to me of like, what? I guess I can do a racist remark on that too. She is 89 and very concerned that her vote counts. I'm sure she should run for an office. You should run for an office in your community. Kathy, I don't even know what to even begin with that. It's, I am so unpolitical. It's not even, that's what fascinates me. I remember there was a line that Tina from Owened Yarn and Fiber said to me where she's like, they're calling her an alt-right person. And at the time when they were calling me alt-right, I didn't even know what alt-right was. And I was like, is this an insult or is this a compliment? I don't even know what alt-right is. And it just, it cracks me up. And I was like, whatever the Lord wills, right, Kathy? I want to say that it will never happen, but I'm going to be honest with you. God pushes me in so many directions that I never say. And whenever I say never to the Lord, Kathy, it's almost as if he's like, oh yeah. So I'm just going to answer with Kathy. But I'll tell you one thing. The conclusion I definitely did make is when I knew that I was not going to vote for the two main parties, when I knew I couldn't trust the two-party system, and I haven't been able to trust the new party system in a long time, way before I started voting, way before I became a citizen and started voting. I've been following common sense for a long, long time. When I didn't trust the two-party system, the only reason why I gave Trump a chance was because I was hopeful that he wasn't a part of the two-party system. But with the news that I got in October, it was just enough for me to take a pause and go, maybe he is a part of the two-party system. And but now watching the results of this election, I'm realizing maybe he's not a part of the two-party system because this is insane. This is insane. And even if it's part of the two-party system and it's narrated to be so, the human beings, us, the individuals, are the pawns in this chess game. We're the pawns. And if we as pawns do not rise up and speak truth and shed light and share and turn the flashlight on Satan, we will perish. We will perish. God put us on this earth to be the salt and the light. And so that's all that I'm doing is when I see evil being done, I'm going to do my best to share it and shed light on it. Even though I'm afraid, even though I don't know what I'm talking about, even though I'm not confident in the information I know, I'm just, like I said, a common sense enthusiast. And how I knew that my governor was corrupt was because he was on a hot mic around June or July. He was getting ready for a speech or something, going out in public, and he was caught on a hot mic saying, "Oh, it's time to put our mask on for the theater show." When my governor, Tom Wolf, said those words after he had shut down our state and forced businesses to close, and lose their livelihoods, everything they've worked so hard for the guise of contracting a disease that could kill, when it turns out the fatality rate was not deadly. The flu is still more deadly than this than what's going on right now. The flu is still more deadly. But enough to shut our world down, enough to live in fear, enough to make our children hide their faces, to make the adults hide their faces, enough to keep people, family members, from gathering, enough to keep churches from gathering, enough to keep us from hugging one another and showing love and gratitude and camaraderie with individuals, keeping space and distance, treating us like animals, and we're volunteering it so because we trust the leaders that are telling us to do so. When in the same breath they censor and they shut down nurses, doctors that have cures, that have, I missed that hot mic moment. Yeah, it was insane. So I knew he was a corrupt man then. And I knew that whatever, all this man-made disease that's going on this year with everything that happened, I knew it had to do with this election. Now it makes sense to allow mail-in votes and to allow fraud to come into play, and not it all makes sense. The big picture is here, and Satan is working. Satan is working overtime. He's been working overtime for a long time. The thing is, it's just now becoming so visible to me that I can't keep quiet about it. I have to meet my maker one day. Remember, I have to meet Jesus one day, and I have to tell him, what did you do? What did you do when you knew something was wrong? I allowed it. I don't want to say that to him. I'm going to say I used whatever tiny voice that I had, and I spoke up against it. I shared it. Share it, guys, because, and speaking of sharing, whatever you share, they are being censored. Everything is being censored. We've been censored for a long time. Whatever's on the internet is being censored and controlled, especially social media. You know it, because everything about me is being fact checked. And speaking of fact check, Candace Owens announced that she just has a big lawsuit. Factcheckzuck.com. Go donate to her and help her out, because she is suing Mark Zuckerberg. She's suing Facebook for their fact checking. Facebook is Instagram, so, and YouTube. So that's 3 major platforms. Go donate to her and help her out, because that's a fight to that's a huge fight, because we're all being censored. Our voices are being censored. So we don't have the ability to share. So we can't even share globally, just like we can't share because intimately, because now they want to keep you from even gathering in holidays with your family. It's nuts. It's nuts. So at the very least of what you're doing, guys, at the very least of what you're doing, do not trust what they're telling you, whatever the results are. And the narrative is going to be so simple, because no matter what, the people suffer, because your voice will not be heard the way it should be heard, because it's clearly obvious that Trump won this election, but they're suppressing it big time. And not only that, but they're cheating. And I'm going to remind you, when I say that statement, I did not vote for him. I did not vote for Trump, and I did not vote for Biden. Now I know why I did that, so that I can stand here today and truly tell you I'm bipartisan. But what is going on as the result of this election is not fair, and it's not just, and it is very illegal, and it's a crime beyond crimes. And if the people of America allow the results to happen the way it is right now, and they get to dictate who they cheat into office, the next round will only be easier. And for the people that are voting for Biden, go, oh, it's only fair that we got him in there, even though we cheated to do so. The next time, it might not be the guy that you want. This is the hardest part of all of this, tearing families apart. Yes, by design. Kathy, by design. They've done it in the Black community. Lyndon Johnson did it in the Black community when they introduced social security, like social welfare, into their world, and took away the father figures and made fathers not responsible for paying for their children. You know what I mean? So that they removed dads out of that infrastructure, and they weakened that group of family by removing the fathers. Now, on a global scale, they are splitting up families as a whole. That is one of the best. Why do you think the first thing they said to stop the gathering? Why stop the physical gathering of churches? It's not because you're spreading a disease. It is so that you can't share thought with one another. They can't control what we say to one another as human beings. They can stop us from digital. They can stop us from tech. That's why big tech can easily stop us. So they can censor tech, just like they can censor TV, they can censor monitors, they can censor all that. And they do. They censor all that. You know they are. They are censoring the President of the United States. The President of the United States is not allowed to tweet right now. They are censoring the President of the United States is not allowed to tweet right now. Think of that. The people that we elected, he's still president up until December, and he is not allowed to give voice to the people that elected him. Like, does that make sense? Who is in power here? You know what I mean? That's a common sense to think about. That's scary stuff. Right? That's why they don't want you gathering. And that's why not only can you not gather in churches all this time, they've been arresting people who refuse to not close down their churches. They've been arresting people, but they won't arrest protesters and rioters and looters. But I'm not allowed to call them rioters and looters. I'm just only allowed to call them protesters. They won't arrest those people, and when they do arrest them, they release them. That's why all those, Portland and all those major cities that are democratically run, which is not Democrat anymore. This is a socialist Marxist group, Antifa and all those fun people, all those people that are trying to overturn this country upside down. And they are succeeding like a mother. They are succeeding like a mother. They take this election and we're done. We're done. I'm only having this conversation today because I don't want you to, if you happen to magically see this video, just know that use common sense, and what you see isn't, don't trust what you see. And look harder, and don't trust just people telling you. I actually watched a clip of Anderson Cooper. That guy's a shady character. If you actually look into his world and where he came from, he actually said that Trump is crying for an unfair election with no proof. That's how I know that man is lying. He's on TV and news, and people follow him in drones and drones and droves. Is it droves or drones? Like they just follow him and his words, and they watch him and they say, Trump is crying because he's losing the election and he has no proof. When proof is right there all in front of you. When you have governors of states saying, governors, because they are the one leader for that state, right? Governor is the big guy for each state. That one governor, and mine is corrupt, president, and my Pennsylvania guy is corrupt. When I know he's caught on a hot mic saying, we have to put our mask on for the theater show, I know this man is an actor. For what movie? Interesting, right? When they say, don't stop the count, pause on the count, and then you have proof of people who are saying they have I shared in my stories a woman who has been in the poll workers trying to coerce, and she's telling you all the stuff like they're doing. Project Veritas, I shared something else in my stories. Rush Limbaugh actually was talking about it. Project Veritas had whistleblowers left and right from the post office saying that they were directed by their superior. They were directed by their superior to hold ballots and make them, separate them aside and go ahead and deliver them, and then put stamps on them and for the date of, like, backtrack to the date to make them valid. There are people actually taking directions and orders, and some people will go along with this deceit and this corruption, and some people won't. But if you're one of those honest people, God-fearing, loving human beings that know right and wrong, that follow right and wrong, and know that truth, please use your voice and speak out against it. Because if you don't speak out against it, you are following it. And when you follow it, you will answer for it. Whether you believe in Jesus Christ or not, you will answer for it. Doing away with religious freedom. Read the Naked Communist. Yep. That's the first thing they say. Break up the family structure. Break up your belief in your God and trust in the government. Yep, it's all there. They have taken all over me. Yep, main social media. Yes, they have. And that's why I'm so, like, I'm in awe of people like Candace Owens who would take on a lawsuit against Mark Zuckerberg and Facebook and fact checkers who are not fact checkers. They are just they're just, and there are people at my work that are like, oh, it's been fact checked and that's not right. I'm like, when you see it for your very eyes, you know what I mean? I'm like, no, BLM's co-founder is a Marxist, trained Marxist organization. And you're going to tell me that she's there to help save Black lives when Black lives are not a matter to them, when they kill the number one consumer of Black deaths is abortion. And they donate millions of dollars to the place that kills the most killed Black lives. It's common sense. It's common sense. If they didn't, then I would say, oh, they cared about Black people. They don't care about Black people. Black Lives Matter is not an organization that cares about Black people. And then I get like hate mail for, like, saying, oh my God, you're saying they just want freedom and equality. I'm actually having these conversations with my family. That's how I know these things. If you think I'm a black sheep to the world, I'm a black sheep to them too. Oh my gosh. Kathy, thank you so much for joining. Thank you for not making me talk to myself for a whole hour. We are interesting. We are in some interesting times. Pray. I pray for the president. I pray for the American people. I pray for truth and justice, and I pray for true transparency, and I pray for a real outcome. Whatever the real outcome is, I'll tell you one thing. We feel hopeless, right? We feel hopeless at this current moment where we're like, what can we do? What can we do to stand up against this evil monster, right? What can we do to stand up against this Goliath at this moment? I'll tell you one thing. There is hope in this week, because the hope is in watching all this deceit and watching all this evil and unfairness happen in this election result of them keeping Trump from being into office. What gives me hope is the fact that the opposite, the left, the people for Biden and Harris, it gives me hope that at least that's not half. Because if they have to cheat to get half of that, then I know then that's not the real thoughts of the American people. Then the American people are actually smarter than that. And the fact that they have to cheat to get him in office, that gives me hope that there are people that still have common sense, that are still voting for a true and free America, right? And the fact that they have to cheat to get the opposite, at least that there's hope in that. It would have been worse if the result was Biden and Harris, and there was no cheating going on, and that the people really did vote for that. That would have been a hopeless cause. That would be hopeless. But the fact that they have to go this hard to cheat to get that result, that gives me hope. That gives me hope that we still have common sense in the world, that maybe we're not all baby killing human beings. My pleasure. Oh, I pray all the time. He guides me to the light out of the darkness. Amen. That's I pray for the same thing. I pray for the same thing. And I even go one up further, is not only do I pray that he brings me to the light out from the darkness, but I pray that he gives me the courage to share that light, to spread that light. And that's where we're at right now. We're at the crossroad where we have the courage to share that light and to spread that light. So if you know of corruption going on, share it. Here's how I know my state is corrupt. The governor, like I said, was caught on a hot mic. Governor Tom Wolf was caught on a hot mic saying, it's time to put our mask on, because he's about to go give a speech in public or go on TV. It's time to put our mask on for the theater show. That's how I know that human being is a corrupt man, because he doesn't believe in the disease that they claim is killing people and that we should end our economy over it. That's how I know that man is corrupt. So when he further in the next statement tells to stop the vote counts of the votes and wait till Friday, then I know, why are you stopping a vote? And then you see Philadelphia not letting transparency happen. That's how I know this is corrupt right now system. We have a corrupt system in this state. So I'm only sharing it because that's what I know. And if you know, and that's the light that I share. I have seen the masses of people gathering peacefully for an honest count, praying in public spaces and together. That's beautiful. That is hope. That is hope. I'm glad that you're seeing that. I'm glad that you're seeing that. That gives me hope, that because not everybody, they're not taking this lying down, because they think that we, the people, are so stupid. And it gives me hope that we're not. We're not. So I dedicate this hour to that topic. So again, guys, freedom is a belief. It is fought for and it is earned. You know, was it Benjamin Franklin that said, we're giving them liberty, or is it we're giving them freedom, but it's theirs if they can keep it? We've been lazy for so long that we are at the brink of losing it. They have to cheat to get it. Remember that. They have to cheat to get it. And should they cheat and win, it's still up to the people. It's still up to the people. You know, it's still up to us. So we can't be lazy, and we have to be vigilant in seeking out truth, real truth, and common sense. You know, y'all have a blessed and wonderful week. It's going to be beautiful and sunny in November. It's crazy. 70 degrees, 70s and 72 this weekend for us in Scranton. So we're looking forward to, we're going to finish up my mother-in-law's porch. We've been working all summer building a new porch for her, and from scratch. From scratch. And so we're going to clean up today. So I'm excited about that. My beagles are so big now that I had to get them new collars. Then they are the same size as Indy's collar, which is insane. My baby beagles are ginormous. But they are now wearing the same collar size as Indy is. It blows my mind. So I've got lots to go, you know what I mean, to live for and love on. I got a craft show coming up in September or December that I said that I was never going to do a live craft show again, and here I am. See, Kathy, another thing I say I'm never going to do again. I said that like 2 years ago. I'm never doing a craft show again. And somebody asked me, a friend from work asked me, "Hey, we got a craft show we're going to do in December. Do you want to?" And I was like, I haven't made anything in so long. I was like, yeah, I think this is a perfect time for me uh, to bring up my creative juices again. And my store on Galilee Life is in full effect. We are planning a live event on Galilee Life for January 9th. It's the first one that we're so excited that we're planning on. And I hope you guys come and join that too. Keep your eyes open. We start the official 8-week countdown on the 9th, which is on Monday. And so you'll get all the details of that free live event. And we hope you join and come. And it's just a time for us as a Galilee Life community to love on God and love on each other and promote entrepreneurship. So we plan a great day, and we've never done it before. It's all brand new to us. It's just the will of God coming at us and getting and helping us get forward, and He's already blessing the event as we speak. So stay tuned for more of that, and follow Galilee Life on Instagram for more details, and go on the website and shop. Do your Christmas shopping on Galilee Life, and if there's I have an affiliate link to that you can get $5 off a $10 order on site wide. So if you want to order, I'm going to actually put that link right in here, and go shop on Galilee Life. Move away from Etsy, move away from Amazon, move away, those big corporations that are bought and paid for by, shop locally and shop with small business. And basically there's no smaller business than Galilee Life, which is an online platform that supports all that. But not only that, but what makes Galilee Life so different from Etsy and Amazon and every other big corporation is an online marketplace. Is Navy's, who I know personally, built it as a platform that loves God, that loves Jesus Christ. And she built it because it was a calling on her heart, because Jesus told her to do this in my name. And so everything that she's doing for the website Galilee Life, for the online platform, everything she's doing is at the will of God. No, not for money, not for fame, not for power, not for anything like that. All on the will of God, all on her hard sweat back that she is working tirelessly to perfect, to make it great. It's just to honor and glorify God. And that's amazing. It's very different from what you see. I would love to shop. Send the link. I will put it right in the show description. I'm going to put my affiliate link. So use that link, right? And you can get $5 off of a $10 purchase off of any store in there, and my shop is in there too as well. But go shop there. Don't go to the big corporations, because where they get their power is where our money goes. You know what I mean? That's how they get their power, is where our money goes. And speaking of money, we can get into that system very soon too, because they're definitely looking at tearing down the system and starting a whole new money system. Something else to think about, right? Y'all have a blessed and beautiful week, and I will see you guys next week. I'm so glad I joined. I'm so glad I came on. My migraine actually went away sometime. I had a migraine before I sat down, and I was not going to come on, and my migraine is magically gone. So thank you, Jesus. Maybe it's Kathy. Kathy, maybe you got rid of my migraine. See, and that's why they say hanging out with your friends and chatting, is great therapy, right? And I didn't even pick up my yarn. I didn't even pick up my knitting to get that therapy. So thank you for that. If you guys like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you guys are not subscribed to this channel, please be sure to do so. YouTube is definitely censoring my channel. So if you thought you were subscribed, please make sure that you still are. And if you're not, please consider doing so, because it helps. And I'm realizing that what we do as a community, as in large, is it's not just I'm a major individualist, so I'm truly an individualist, but the world is built on a community, and God created us as a community, and it's more importantly now than ever is it becoming so clear to me. More importantly, God bless you. Thank you for being a light today. Oh, thank you for being my light today. God bless you, and God bless USA. Yes, God bless USA. God is in control, and God is in power, and so whatever happens will happen at His will. That's why I prayed for mercy, because we as in the United States have had so much bloodshed, innocent bloodshed on our hands for so long. Like I said, in the first 3 months before the big CC happened, before the big earthly shattering disease happened, we managed to abort 10 million babies in the first 3 months of 2020. 10 million abortions in the first 3 months of 2020. How in November were we not going to see the retribution of that? And I fear the results of what we're living through right now possibly could be because of that decision. And that's just in the first 3 months of 2020. That's not everything else. That's not the evil that we've allowed up to this point. So this week, Navies and I got together and we prayed for mercy on the U.S. We prayed for mercy. We said, God, give us mercy. Please give us mercy, because we are sorry, for we do not know what we do. But we better learn fast. We better wake up fast. God bless you guys. I'll see you next time. Love you. Bye.